How I hit the balls and the displacement of the ball.
This is you hitting?
No, this is my mother.
She's got a bad slice. Oh,
because she's better
terrible
to
form.
control the force and she's better to control the displacement, and I'm not good at golf.
She's not either. Okay.
And we choose different displacement, and it's hard to control the angle, so I measure the angle when I take the video and measure it on the screen.
Oh. Bad.
Oh yeah. And this time I changed my height, and I have a question that for all of you, that how can, if you are me, how can you measure the height of the slope? Like it's a slope, but you can't measure it directly. So how can you fix it?
Calculate it?
How can you calculate it?
Using times and horizontal distance.
Good idea. Yeah, for me, I use the golf clubs with I use the golf clubs to erect a triangle and use the triangle to solve the height for this. The purpose that I did this experiment, I want to find what kind of things, like the reasons that have influence on time aloft and the displacement. And I use the tools include golf clubs to erect a triangle for solve the slope, and the golf ball is the object that I need to observe, and it's maybe 0.5 kilograms. And also I use the rulers to measure the displacement. On the golf course, first we hit the ball, and we can measure the displacement at that time, but the angle I need to measure it through the video. Also the time allowed, I can count it in the video. And after that, after I choose 4 angles to do the experiment, I change the height and try 3 different slopes. Personally, I think the air resistance will have influence on it, so I did it on the program too. And this is experimental data, and this is the program's data. In my observation in the experimental data, I found the angles become bigger and time aloft will be longer. Displacement will be also longer, and experimental data is much more different than I did.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I'm clogging.
That's alright. Then I did it by using the program, and there are some reasons that may have influence on it. Since I measure the time by video, it will be a little error. And also the air resistance have the error. On the calculations with the increase of angle, the displacement will be longer, and when the angle is near 45 degrees, the displacement, I think it will be the biggest. But I only choose 4 angles, so I'm not sure whether this is right. And my conclusion from the data we get from the program, with the increase of time and angle, the displacement will be longer, and however it won't have influence on the maximum height. And I guess the initial velocity will have connection with the force that I hit the golf ball, but it's hard to control it, so I can just guess. And furthermore, the data in 2 tables are obviously different, which confirm that I think air resistance have great influence on the golf ball's motion. And now I change the height. Yeah, these people, it's a strange situation on the golf course on that day because all of us hold a golf club and to erect the triangle and measure it to find the height of the slope. And this is also the experimental data, and this is the programmed data. In my observation, the difference between the experimental data and the program data, the times error is because of the video and I can't count accurately. Since I changed the height, the slope is measured by golf club and it won't be accurate. Also, after observing the experimental data, I guess with the increasing of time, the displacement will be longer and neither the angle of time will have influence on the initial speed. But after I did on the program, it is not right, I think. And the displacement will be bigger, but the allotted of time is getting longer. And during my conclusion, through the range of angles that I pick, height has influence on the displacement, but I can't say how it will have influence on it. I think when the height is higher and the displacement will be longer and the time allotted will be longer. But I didn't hit the golf ball with the same force, so it's just a guess. And the air resistance have influence on the motion of the golf ball. When the angle, which is near 45 degrees, it will fly farther and the time allotted will be longer. That's my conclusion. That's all.
You have a question, sir? I do. All right, so what else are variables in golf clubs? She's talking about, if I were to buy different kinds of golf clubs, one thing that golf clubs you can buy are the different kinds of shafts. In other words, what is the long part of the golf club made of? You can buy shafts that are titanium. You can buy shafts that bend a little more. What difference will that make if you're a golfer on the type of shaft that you have, whether it's stiff or it's loose?
I think either is okay.
Hmm?
I think either is okay.
Does anybody have an idea on that? What would be the difference if I have a golf club and my shaft is very stiff, means it doesn't bend much, or I have a golf club where my shaft, when I pull it back and then I swing it, it will bend more? What's the difference, do you think, on what will happen when I hit the ball? What's the difference between having what's called a stiff shaft or having a more flexible fiberglass shaft?
I don't know, I can't play
Change the
golf.
force that will hit the
What's going to have a greater force of the ball? A stiff shaft or a shaft that bends? Shaft that bends. Why?
Because like stiff one, if you hit and you hit strictly and like shaft bends will make keep going.
Well, you know what a whiplash effect is? Whiplash. If something bends, not only is it going to be the force from me, but it's going to be the force of the bend going into the ball as well.
Yeah.
So if you have a shaft that bends more, you are going to provide more force in the ball. You're going to hit it harder. The problem, though, with greater force is it's more difficult to control. Whereas if I have a stiff shaft, less force, better control. So if you become a pretty good golfer, you're going to try to think about, do I need more, older people, for example, might want to have a bending shaft because they don't swing the club as hard as a younger person. A younger person may not need that extra force and would have a stiffer shaft so they can control the ball a little better. So exciting golf physics. Thank you. That was very interesting.